Look who's here.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most sudden and unexpected movie conclusions. These endings might be great, or not so great, but we'll only be looking at standalone films. Spoiler alert, obviously.
Anything interesting?
There always is to the party concerned.
Number 10, War of the Worlds. To be fair, author H.G. Wells is partly to blame for this ending. These alien invaders seem to be invincible, impervious to every weapon the military throws at them. But just when it looks like there's no hope for humanity, the aliens start dropping dead for no apparent reason.
Blair! Oh, keep it back, come on.
It turns out that they have no immunity to Earth's bacteria, and they were doomed from the moment they arrived. Morgan Freeman explains everything in his closing narration, which comes straight out of Wells' novel.
They were undone, destroyed, after all of man's weapons and devices had failed, by the tiniest creatures that God in his wisdom put upon this earth.
Of course, the source material doesn't include an obnoxious teenage son who survives a deadly battle and magically shows up safe at his grandparents' house. That inexplicable detail is on Spielberg and the writers.
Hey, Dad.
Number 9, Enemy. If you're afraid of spiders, you might want to close your eyes for this one. In this psychological thriller, a professor named Adam discovers a man who looks identical to him. What follows is a twisted tale of obsession, deceit, and tarantulas. By the end, Adam's double is dead, and Adam seems to have taken over his life. As he follows his wife Helen to the bedroom to talk about going out, he instead finds a giant spider.
Helen?
Adam looks more annoyed than frightened, and fade to black. What happened to Helen? What do all the spiders have to do with anything? Your guess is as good as ours. Number 8, The Blair Witch Project. Although it's not the first found footage horror movie, it's certainly an icon of the genre.
This is my home.
Okay. Wow.
Which I am leaving the comforts of for the weekend to explore the Blair Witch.
In search of the legendary Blair Witch, 3 film students travel to a small New England town to shoot a documentary. There, they interview the locals who tell them stories of missing kids and the reclusive hermit in the local woods.
He made one face into the corner.
Really?
And then he would kill the other one.
While the trio camp out in those same woods, bizarre things begin to happen. All the while, the audience is left to wonder, is there really someone out there terrorizing them, or is it all in their heads?
I am so sorry for everything that has happened.
The answer comes in a chilling split-second shot at the very end, just before the camera falls to the ground. Number 7, There Will Be Blood. Daniel Plainview is a merciless man, and he's had it out for Eli Sunday ever since Eli humiliated him during a baptism.
Say it louder. I've abandoned my child! I've abandoned my child! I've abandoned my boy!
Although Daniel is a wealthy oil man by the end, he's completely alone, having driven away his adopted son, and he's become an alcoholic. When Eli shows up hoping to sell some property rights, Daniel turns on him. We've seen Daniel kill before, but this brutality seems to come out of nowhere.
I told you I would eat you!
We're family!
I told you I would eat you up!
We're brothers! We're brothers!
When his butler appears to see what's causing the noise, Daniel has just 2 words for him.
I'm finished.
The lighthearted score then hints at just the right moment to make the scene both jarring and comedic. Number 6, North by Northwest. This spy thriller is a study in suspense from the master himself. A case of mistaken identity sends ad executive Roger Thornhill fleeing assassins from New York to Chicago to South Dakota. Along the way, he meets Eve Kendall, who is secretly working for the government.
I know, I look vaguely familiar.
Yes.
You feel you've seen me somewhere before?
Mm-hmm.
The pursuit leads to the top of Mount Rushmore, where a would-be killer confronts the pair on the mountain. The tension has been ratcheting up throughout the film, seemingly building to this very moment.
I can't make it!
Yes, you can. Come on.
But we don't get to see the resolution. The film suddenly cuts from Eve dangling by her fingertips to a train car, where she and Roger appear to be on their honeymoon.
Oh, Roger, this is silly.
I know, but I'm sentimental.
It's a strange way to wrap up a nearly perfect movie. Number 5, The Italian Job. This one is definitely a cliffhanger. You know the story. A plan comes together, the crew pulls off the perfect crime, and they make a quick escape with their prize.
Shut your door now!
But this group starts the celebration a little too early. As their bus full of gold careens through the Alps, the driver makes a wrong move, and the whole party nearly goes off a cliff. Despite the danger, Croker isn't about to let all that gold get away.
Edge back as far as you can go to counterbalance me now.
Does he manage to save it? We'll never know. It might be an abrupt ending, but it also perfectly fits the comedic tone of this classic British heist. Number 4, The Devil Inside. Sometimes it makes sense for found footage movies to end suddenly, especially if something catastrophic happens to the cameraman.
Look at me, guys, look at me, look at me.
I love you.
I love you.
But this one just feels lazy, and the critics tore it to pieces.
In nome di Gesù, exorcizo te. In nome di Gesù.
At the conclusion of this fairly generic exorcism film, a priest and the filmmaker are driving the demon-possessed Isabella to get help. Along the way, the driver gets possessed too, and almost immediately crashes the car.
Michael!
The screen then cuts to black, and text appears inviting the viewers to visit a website to learn more about the case. Even more absurd is the fact that the website became defunct just over a year after the movie came out. Number 3, Inception. Christopher Nolan is known for his mind-bending storylines that keep you guessing long after the movie ends. Inception is so twisty, even the characters don't always know what's real and what's not.
We're dreaming.
You're actually in the middle of the workshop right now, sleeping. This is your first lesson in shared dreaming. Stay calm.
To maintain his grip on reality, Dom carries a top that will only fall if he's not in a dream. The team pulls off their heist, and Dom gets to return to the US to see his children. Or does he? When he arrives home in the final scene, he spins the top, but immediately gets distracted by the sight of his kids. The scene cuts before we see the top fall, leaving us to wonder whether everything we just watched was a dream within a dream. Number 2, No Country for Old Men. Ruthless hitman Anton Chigurh seems unstoppable, so it's not too surprising when he walks away from a shocking car accident.
What did you take for the shirt?
Well, hell, mister. I'll give you my shirt.
The final shot of him limping into the distance feels like a customary place to end the movie, except it's not the end. Instead, the film jumps back to now retired Sheriff Ed Tom's kitchen, where he tells his wife about a pair of dreams he's had about his father.
When he rode past, I seen he was carrying fire and a horn, the way people used to do, and I could see the horn from the light inside of it, about the color of the moon.
The scene feels unconnected to anything else that's happened, and when it finally cuts to the credits, the audience is left to figure out its significance on their own.
I knew that whenever I got there, he'd be there. Then I woke up.
This isn't the only Coen film with an unconventional ending. Burn After Reading wraps up with a hilarious bit of exposition between two bewildered CIA agents.
What did we learn, Palmer?
I don't know, sir.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. American Graffiti. This night of teenage revelry culminates in a jarring epilogue.
But you're still a punk. Okay, John. So long. So long.
Birdemic Shock and Terror. The birds stop attacking out of nowhere, just like in the Hitchcock classic that inspired it.
Look! They're leaving!
Death Proof. It's corny and violent, but so satisfying. An American Werewolf in London. Although it's a downer, this gory masterpiece couldn't have ended any other way.
I love you, David.
3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. The characters seem to be at peace, even though there's no resolution.
You? Not really.
guess we can decide along the way.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. This movie is full of iconic lines, fourth wall breaks, and men riding imaginary horses.
And that may lead just how we know the Earth to be banana-shaped. This new learning amazes me, Sir Bedivere.
So viewers shouldn't be surprised that the ending is also completely off the wall. As Arthur and his knights get ready to do battle against the Frenchmen in the castle Arg, the police suddenly show up and stop everything. Of course, this isn't the cops' first appearance in the film. They've been investigating the murder of a famous historian and have been hot on the Knight's trail ever since. When they pile out of a cruiser with the historian's wife in tow, it's actually a brilliant—
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.